The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde. Chapter 1. The Artist. The studio was filled with the rich perfume of roses, and the light summer wind brought the heavy scent of lilac from the garden through the open door. Lord Henry Wotton was lying on a divan, smoking one of his innumerable cigarettes. Beyond the soft buzzing of the bees in the garden, the distant noise of London could be heard. In the centre of the room, on an artist's easel, stood a portrait of an extraordinarily beautiful young man. Basil Hallwood, the artist, was sitting in front of it, smiling at his work of art.
"It is your best work, Basil. The best thing you've ever done,"
said Lord Henry languidly.
"You must send it to the Grosvenor. The Grosvenor is the only place to exhibit it."
"I don't think I shall send it anywhere,"
he answered. Lord Henry looked at him through the thin blue smoke of his cigarette.
"Not send it anywhere? My dear man, why not? What odd people you painters are. You do anything in the world to become famous, and when you're famous, you're not happy."
"I know you'll laugh at me,"
Basil replied,
"but I really can't exhibit it. I've put too much of myself into it."
Lord Henry laughed.
"Too much of yourself into it? Basil, I didn't know you were so vain. You have black hair and a strong face. This young Adonis has delicate features, fair hair, and looks as if he were made of ivory and rose leaves. And you have an intellectual expression. And beauty ends where an intellectual expression begins. You don't look like your mysterious young friend at all. By the way, you haven't told me his name."
"You don't understand me, Harry,"
answered the artist.
"Of course I don't look like him. Dorian Gray is beautiful, and we all must pay for the gift the gods have given us, whether it is beauty or intellect. It's better not to be different from others. The ugly and the stupid have the best of it in this world."
"Dorian Gray? Is that his name?"
asked Lord Henry.
"Yes, but I didn't want to tell you."
"Why not?"
"Oh, I can't explain. When I like people immensely, I never tell their names to anyone. It's like losing a part of them. I love having secrets."
"You seem to forget that I'm married, and in marriage secrets are absolutely necessary. I never know where my wife is, and my wife never knows where I am. When we meet, which we occasionally do, we tell each other the most absurd stories with the most serious faces."
"I hate the way you talk about your married life, Harry,"
said Basil.
"I think you're a very good husband, but you're ashamed of your virtues. Your cynicism is simply a pose."
Lord Henry laughed, and the two men went out into the garden. After a while, Lord Henry pulled out his watch.
"I must go now, Basil, but before I go I want to know the real reason why you don't want to exhibit Dorian Gray's picture."
"Harry,"
said Basil,
"every portrait that is painted with feeling is a portrait of the artist, not of the sitter. I will not exhibit this picture because I'm afraid it shows the secret of my heart."
Lord Henry laughed.
"And what is that?"
"I'm afraid you'll hardly understand it."
Lord Henry picked a pink daisy from the grass and said,
"I can believe anything if it's incredible."
"The story is simply this,"
said the painter.
2 months ago, I went to a party at Lady Brandon's. After I'd been in the room about 10 minutes, I suddenly felt that someone was looking at me. I turned around and saw Dorian Gray for the first time. When our eyes met, I grew pale with terror. I knew I'd met someone whose personality could absorb my soul and my art. I had a strange feeling that fate had prepared exquisite joys and sorrows. I was afraid and wanted to leave the room. Lady Brandon stopped me, and suddenly I found myself face to face with this young man. We were quite close, and our eyes met. I asked Lady Brandon to introduce me to him.
Tell me more about Dorian Gray,
Lord Henry said.
How often do you see him?
Every day. I couldn't be happy if I didn't see him every day. He's absolutely necessary to me.
How extraordinary! I thought you'd never care for anything but your art.
He's all my art to me now,
said the painter.
He's my inspiration. Since I met Dorian, I've created the best work of my life. He knows nothing of my adoration for him, but if people saw this portrait, they might guess the secret of my heart, Harry.
Tell me, Basil, does Dorian Gray like you?
Asked Lord Henry.
I know he likes me. As a rule, he's charming to me, but sometimes he seems to enjoy hurting me. Then I feel I've given my heart to someone who thinks it's simply a lovely flower to enjoy on a summer day.
Summer days, Basil, can sometimes linger,
murmured Lord Henry.
Perhaps you'll become tired sooner than he will.
Harry, don't say that. As long as I live, the personality of Dorian Gray will dominate me.
Lord Henry was amused. How delightful other people's emotions were.
I'd like to meet him.
I don't want you to meet him.
Mr. Dorian Gray is in the studio, sir, said the butler, coming into the garden.
You must introduce me now,
cried Lord Henry, laughing. The painter said to his servant,
Ask Mr. Gray to wait, Parker.
Then he looked at Lord Henry.
Dorian Gray is my dearest friend. He's a simple, beautiful person. Don't spoil him. Don't try to influence him. Your influence would be bad. Don't take away from me the person who makes me a true artist.
What nonsense,
said Lord Henry, smiling. Chapter 2. The Picture. As they entered the house, they saw Dorian Gray. He was seated at the piano with his back to them, turning over the pages of some music by Schumann.
You must lend me these, Basil,
he cried.
That depends on how you sit today, Dorian.
Oh, I'm tired of sitting, and I don't want a portrait of myself,
answered the boy, turning around. When he saw Lord Henry, a faint blush coloured his cheeks.
Oh, I beg your pardon, Basil. I didn't know there was anyone with you.
This is Lord Henry Wotton, an old friend of mine,
said Basil.
I'm very pleased to meet you,
said Lord Henry, looking at him. Yes, he was wonderfully handsome, with his scarlet lips, honest blue eyes and golden hair. His face had the purity and candour of youth that inspired trust. No wonder Basil Hallward worshipped him. The painter was busy mixing his colours and getting his brushes ready. Then he turned to Lord Henry and said,
Harry, I want to finish this picture today. Would you think it very rude of me if I asked you to go away?
Lord Henry smiled and looked at Dorian Gray.
Should I go, Mr. Gray?
Oh, please don't, Lord Henry. Basil is in one of his difficult moods, and I hate it when he's difficult. Basil, please ask Lord Henry to stay. I insist.
Hallward bit his lip.
If Dorian wishes it, you must stay. And now, Dorian, take your place and don't move about or pay attention to what Lord Henry says. He has a very bad influence on all his friends, except myself.
While Basil was painting, Lord Henry talked and talked. And he had such a beautiful musical voice. His fascinating words touched a secret chord in Dorian that had never been touched before. Only music had had this effect on him.
I believe that the aim of life is self-development, to realize one's nature perfectly. Every impulse we try to kill stays in our mind and poisons us. The only way to get rid of a temptation is to give in to it.
Dorian began to understand things about himself that he had never understood before. Words! How terrible they were! How clear and vivid and cruel! Lord Henry watched Dorian with his subtle smile. He knew when to speak and when to be silent. He was surprised at the sudden effect of his words on this fascinating boy.
Basil, I'm tired of standing,
cried Dorian Gray suddenly.
I must go and sit in the garden.
My dear fellow, I'm so sorry. When I paint, I only think of my work. I don't know what Harry has been saying to you, but you have a wonderful expression on your face.
Lord Henry and Dorian went out into the garden, while Basil worked on the portrait. Dorian buried his face in the lilac blossoms and enjoyed their heavy perfume. Lord Henry murmured,
"You're right to do that. Nothing can cure the soul but the senses, just as nothing can cure the senses but the soul."
Dorian Gray turned his head away. He liked the tall, graceful young man who was standing by him, but for some reason he felt afraid of him.
"Let's go and sit in the shade,"
said Lord Henry.
"You mustn't let the sun burn your face."
What does it matter?
cried Dorian Gray, laughing.
"It should matter very much to you, Mr. Gray.
Why?
Because you're young, and youth is the one thing that really matters."
I don't feel that, Lord Henry.
"No, you don't feel it now. Some day, when you're old and ugly, you'll feel it terribly. You have a wonderfully beautiful face, Mr. Gray. Beauty is a form of genius. It's one of the great facts of the world, like sunlight or springtime. But your beauty won't last forever. When your youth goes, your beauty will go with it. Live the wonderful life that is in you. Be afraid of nothing. We degenerate into hideous puppets, tormented by the passions and temptations we were afraid to give in to. There is absolutely nothing in the world but youth."
Dorian Gray listened wide-eyed without speaking. He was experiencing a new emotion he could not express. Suddenly, the painter appeared at the door of the studio.
Dorian, come in.
They walked towards the house together.
"You're glad you have met me, Mr. Gray,"
said Lord Henry.
Yes, I'm glad now. I wonder if I'll always be glad.
"Always? That is a terrible word. Women are so fond of using it,"
said Lord Henry. After about a quarter of an hour, Basil stopped painting. He stood back and looked at Dorian and the painting.
It's finished,
he cried, and signed his name in red letters on the bottom of the canvas. Lord Henry examined the picture. It certainly was a wonderful work of art.
"My dear fellow, this is the finest portrait of our times. Mr. Gray, come over and look at yourself."
Dorian looked at the picture, and for a moment his cheeks flushed with pleasure. The sense of his own beauty came to him like a revelation. Then he remembered Lord Henry's words about the brevity of youth and beauty. Yes, he would become wrinkled and old, and all the grace would disappear from his figure. He would become ugly. The thought froze his heart.
Don't you like it?
cried Hallward.
"Of course he likes it,"
said Lord Henry.
"It's one of the greatest things in modern art. I'll pay any sum for it. I must have it."
It is not my property, Harry.
"Whose property is it?"
Dorian's, of course,
answered the painter.
"He's a very lucky fellow."
How sad it is,
murmured Dorian Gray, still staring at his portrait.
I'll grow old and horrible, but this picture will always remain young. If it were only the other way. I wish I could stay young and the picture grow old. I'd give everything for that. I'd give my soul for that.
Lord Henry laughed.
"I don't think you'd like it, Basil."
No, I wouldn't,
agreed Basil.
Of course, you like your art better than your friends. How long will you like me? Only while I'm beautiful, I suppose. I'm jealous of the portrait, Basil. Its beauty will never die. Lord Henry is perfectly right. Youth is the most important thing in the world. I'll kill myself when I find that I'm growing old.
Don't talk like that, Dorian,
said Basil in amazement.
You're my dearest friend.
Basil turned to Lord Henry and asked angrily,
What have you been teaching him? Why didn't you go away when I asked you?
Lord Henry shrugged his shoulders.
It's the real Dorian Gray, that's all.
It isn't. Harry, I can't argue with my two best friends at the same time. Between you both, you have made me hate my best work. I'll destroy it now, before it destroys our friendship.
He picked up a palette knife. Dorian ran towards the painter and stopped his hand.
Don't, Basil. It would be murder.
I'm glad you appreciate my work at last, Dorian,
said the painter coldly.
Appreciate it? I'm in love with it. It's a part of myself.
Later, while they were having tea, Lord Henry suggested going to the theatre.
I'd like to come to the theatre with you, Lord Henry,
said Dorian.
Then you will come, and you will come too, Basil.
I can't. I have a lot of work to do.
Well, then, you and I will go alone, Mr. Gray.
The painter bit his lip and walked to the painting.
I shall stay with the real Dorian,
he said sadly. When the two men had closed the door behind them, Basil flung himself on the sofa, and a look of pain came into his face. Chapter 4. The Prison of Love.
Mother, I'm so happy,
whispered the girl, resting her head on her mother's lap. The tired-looking woman was sitting in the only armchair of their dingy sitting room.
I'm so happy.
Sybil repeated.
And you must be happy too.
Mrs. Vane put her thin white hands on her daughter's head.
I'm only happy when I see you act. You must think only about acting. We're poor. We need money. What do you know about this young man? You don't even know his name.
His name doesn't matter. I call him Prince Charming, and he's everything to me. I love him because he is what love should be, and he loves me.
You're too young to think of love,
said her mother. She looked at her daughter's radiant face and tried to warn her of the dangers of love, but the girl was locked in the prison of love and would not listen. At that moment, the door opened and a young man with brown hair came into the room. His hands and feet were large and clumsy. Mrs. Vane smiled at him, and Sybil hugged him. James Vane looked into his sister's face with tenderness.
I want you to come out with me for a walk, Sybil. As you know, tonight I'm leaving for Australia, and I won't see you for a very long time.
Oh, Jim, you really want to take me out for a walk? Let's go to the park.
She ran upstairs to get dressed. When James and his mother were alone, he said,
I've heard that a gentleman comes to the theatre every night to talk to Sybil.
Yes, the young man is undoubtedly a gentleman, James. Probably a member of the aristocracy.
James bit his lip.
Watch over Sybil, Mother. I'll be in Australia, and you're the only one who can protect her.
At that moment, Sybil entered the room and said,
I'm ready, Jim. Let's go out.
In the park, Sybil talked excitedly to her brother, but he was sad and gloomy.
You're not listening to a word I'm saying, Jim,
cried Sybil.
Why are you so sad?
I've heard you have a new friend. Who is he? What do you know about him? Can you trust him?
Stop, Jim. You mustn't say anything against him. I love him.
But you don't even know his name,
answered James.
He's called Prince Charming. He's the most wonderful person in the world. I wish you could see him.
Sybil, tonight I'm leaving, and I'm worried about you. I want you to be careful. You're mad about him, but you don't know his intentions. If he ever hurts you, I'll kill him."
She looked at him in horror. He repeated his words, and they cut the air like a knife. The people around them gaped.
Come away, Jim. You don't know what you're saying. He loves me, and he'll love me forever. You're simply jealous. I wish you would fall in love. Love makes people good.
I hope you're right, Sybil.
They returned home, and James had a small meal. Soon it was time for him to leave. He kissed his sister tenderly, then turned to his mother and said,
"Goodbye, Mother. Don't forget that you have only one child to look after now. If that man hurts her, I'll kill him like a dog. I swear it." "I suppose you've heard the news, Basil?"
said Lord Henry that evening, while they were having dinner at the Bristol Hotel.
"No, Harry,"
answered Basil.
"What is it?"
"Dorian Gray is engaged to be married,"
said Lord Henry, watching him as he spoke. Basil frowned.
"Dorian? Engaged to be married? Impossible."
"It's perfectly true."
"To whom?"
"To some little actress."
"I can't believe it. Think of Dorian's position and wealth. It would be absurd for him to marry an actress. I hope the girl is good."
"Oh, she's better than good. She's beautiful,"
murmured Lord Henry.
"And Dorian is not often wrong about these things. We'll see her tonight, so we'll judge for ourselves."
"But Dorian can't marry an actress. It's absurd,"
cried the painter, biting his lip.
"Why?"
Lord Henry said coolly.
"He'll love her wildly for 6 months, and then suddenly he'll be in love with another woman. It will be amusing to watch."
"You don't mean a word of that."
Lord Henry laughed.
"Here's Dorian himself. He'll tell you more than I can."
"My dear Harry, my dear Basil, you must both congratulate me,"
said Dorian, shaking their hands.
"I've never been so happy."
"I hope you'll always be very happy, Dorian,"
said Basil.
"But why didn't you tell me? You told Harry."
"There isn't really much to tell,"
cried Dorian.
"Last night I went to see her act. She's an artist. After the performance I went to speak to her. As we were sitting together, suddenly a look came into her eyes that I'd never seen before. My lips moved towards hers. We kissed each other. I can't describe what I felt at that moment."
"At what point did you mention the word marriage, Dorian? And what did she say? Perhaps you forgot all about it?"
asked Lord Henry.
"I didn't make a formal proposal. I told her that I loved her. When I'm with her, I forget all your fascinating, terrible ideas, your theories about life, love, pleasure."
"Pleasure is the only thing worth having ideas about. When we're happy, we're always good. But when we're good, we are not always happy."
"I know what pleasure is,"
cried Dorian.
"It is to adore someone."
"That's certainly better than being adored."
"Harry, you're terrible. I don't know why I like you so much."
"You'll always like me, Dorian. I represent all the sins you've never had the courage to commit."
"What nonsense, Harry. Let's go to the theatre. When Sybil comes on stage, you'll have a new ideal in life."
The painter was silent and gloomy. He could not bear the idea of this marriage. He felt that Dorian would never be to him all that he had been in the past. Life had come between them. When he arrived at the theatre, he felt he had grown years older. Chapter 5. The Theatre. The theatre was crowded that night, and it was oppressively hot. Dorian, Lord Henry and Basil were sitting in a private box. Young people were shouting to each other across the theatre, eating oranges and drinking from bottles.
"What a place to find one's love in,"
said Lord Henry.
"Yes, you're right, Harry,"
answered Dorian.
The place is awful, but when she acts, you'll forget these common, rough people with their coarse faces and vulgar gestures. She has the power to elevate them.
I understand what you mean, Dorian, and I believe in this girl,
said the painter.
If she can give a soul to those who have lived without one, if she can create the sense of beauty in people whose lives have been ugly, she deserves all your adoration.
Thank you, Basil,
answered Dorian, pressing his hand. After a quarter of an hour, accompanied by extraordinary applause, Sybil Vane appeared on the stage. Yes, she was certainly lovely to look at. One of the loveliest women Lord Henry had ever seen. Basil jumped to his feet and applauded. Motionless, Dorian Gray stared at her dreamily. She moved across the stage like a goddess. Yet she was strangely lifeless. When she spoke, her words sounded artificial and meaningless. Her tone was false and unnatural. Her acting lacked passion and vitality. Dorian Gray grew pale as he watched her. His friend said nothing to him, but she seemed absolutely incompetent. They were horribly disappointed. She grew worse as she went on. Her gestures became artificial. She was a failure. The people in the theatre lost interest and started to talk loudly and laugh. Sybil did not seem to notice anything. At the end of the second act, Lord Henry got up and said,
"She's very beautiful, Dorian, but she can't act. Let's go."
I'm going to see the entire play,
answered Dorian in a bitter voice.
I'm so sorry that I've wasted your time.
My dear Dorian, perhaps Miss Vane is ill,
said Basil.
I wish she were ill, but she seems to be simply callous and cold. She's completely changed. Last night she was a great artist. This evening she's a mediocre actress. Go away. I want to be alone. Can't you see my heart is breaking?
Hot tears came to his eyes, and he hid his face in his hands. As soon as the play was over, he rushed to see Sybil. When she saw him, an expression of great joy came over her.
Dorian! How badly I acted tonight,
she cried.
Horribly! It was terrible. Are you ill? You have no idea how I suffered.
Dorian, don't you understand?
She said, smiling.
Understand what?
He asked angrily.
Why I was so bad tonight. Well, I'll always be a bad actress.
You're ill, I suppose. When you're ill, you shouldn't act. My friends were bored. I was bored.
She did not seem to listen to him.
Dorian,
she cried.
Before I knew you, acting was the only thing in my life. It was only in the theatre that I lived. Then you came and freed my soul from prison. You made me understand what love really is. It wasn't what I was playing on the stage. Only your love is real to me. Everything else is false and artificial. My love, take me away with you where we can be alone.
Dorian threw himself on the sofa and said coldly,
You've killed my love.
She looked at him in wonder and laughed.
Yes, you've killed my love,
he repeated.
I loved you because you were marvellous, because you had genius and intellect. You've thrown it all away. You're shallow and stupid. My God, how mad I was to love you. What a fool I've been. You're nothing to me now. I'll never see you again. Without your art, you're nothing.
The girl trembled.
You aren't serious, Dorian,
she murmured. She put her hand on his arm.
Don't touch me,
he cried. She threw herself at his feet and lay there like a trampled flower.
Dorian, don't leave me,
she whispered.
Can't you forgive me for tonight? I'll work so hard and try to improve. Don't be cruel to me because I love you better than anything in the world. Oh, don't leave me.
She crouched on the floor like a wounded thing, and Dorian, with his beautiful eyes, looked down at her in disdain. Her tears annoyed him.
"I'm going,"
he said, in his calm, clear voice.
"I don't want to be unkind, but I can't see you again. You've disappointed me."
He turned around, and in a few moments he was out of the theatre. He walked through dark streets and past dingy houses. At dawn he was near Covent Garden, from where he took a carriage home. As he passed through his library, his eye fell on his portrait. He stared at it in surprise and walked on into his bedroom. Then he returned to the library and examined the picture. In the dim light, the face appeared to be changed. The expression looked different. He walked to the window and opened the curtains. He looked at the portrait again. The bright sunlight showed him the lines of cruelty around the mouth. He picked up a small oval mirror, one of Lord Henry's many gifts, and looked at his real face. There were no hard lines around his mouth. He examined the picture again. His expression in the painting had changed. It was horribly apparent. He threw himself into a chair and began to think. Suddenly he remembered his words in Basil's studio the day the picture had been finished. He had made a mad wish that he might remain young and beautiful, and the painting should grow old and ugly. That the face in the picture might reflect his passions and sins, and that he might keep the candour of youth. Had his wish come true? Such things were impossible. And yet, there was the picture in front of him, with a touch of cruelty in the mouth. Cruelty? Had he been cruel? No. Why should he think about Sybil Vane? She was nothing to him now. The picture held the secret of his life and told his story. It had taught him to love his own beauty. Would it teach him to hate his own soul? It was the mirror of his conscience. He decided to save himself, to resist temptation. He would not see Lord Henry again. He would not listen to his poisonous theories. He would go back to Sybil Vane, marry her, and try to love her again. His life with her would be beautiful and pure. He got up from his chair and put a large screen in front of the portrait.
"How horrible,"
he murmured to himself. Then he went out into the garden and thought only of Sybil. Chapter 6. The Death of Love. It was long past noon when he awoke. His servant came in softly with a cup of tea and some letters. He noticed that one was from Lord Henry, and put it aside. After about 10 minutes he got up, had a cool bath, got dressed, and went into the library to have a light breakfast. It was an exquisite day. He felt perfectly happy. Suddenly his eye fell on the screen that he had put in front of the portrait, and he jumped. Was it all true? Had the portrait really changed? The thing was absurd. Should he move the screen? Why not let it stay there? But what if someone else looked at the portrait and it had really changed? What would he do if Basil came and asked to look at his own picture? He had to examine it at once. He locked both doors and then removed the screen. It was true. The portrait had changed. He shuddered with horror and felt afraid. The portrait had made him conscious of how cruel and unjust he had been to Sybil. He went to the table and wrote a passionate letter to her, begging her forgiveness and accusing himself of madness. When we blame ourselves, we feel that no one else can blame us. When Dorian had finished the letter, he felt that he had been forgiven. Suddenly there was a knock at the door, and Lord Henry's voice outside.
My dear boy, I must see you.
Dorian put the screen in front of the picture and unlocked the door.
I'm so sorry about it all, Dorian,
said Lord Henry.
but you mustn't think too much about her.
Do you mean Sybil Vane?
Dorian asked.
Of course,
Answered Lord Henry, sitting down and slowly pulling off his gloves.
It's terrible, but it isn't your fault. Did you go and see her after the play was over?
Yes.
Did you have an argument?
It was brutal, Harry. Perfectly brutal. But it's all right now. I'm not sorry for anything that happened. It's taught me to know myself better.
Ah, Dorian, I'm so glad you see it that way.
My dear Harry, I know what a conscience is now. It's the most divine thing in us. I want to be good. I don't want to destroy my soul.
I admire your intentions, but how are you going to begin?
By marrying Sybil Vane.
Marrying Sybil Vane?
Cried Lord Henry.
Dorian, didn't you get my letter?
Your letter? Oh, yes, but I haven't read it yet.
You know nothing, then.
What do you mean?
Lord Henry sat down by Dorian, took both his hands, and held them tightly.
Dorian, my letter was to tell you that Sybil Vane is dead.
Dead?
Cried Dorian, jumping to his feet.
Sybil? Dead? It's not true. It's a horrible lie.
It's true, Dorian.
Said Lord Henry gravely.
It's in all the morning papers. There will be an inquest, and you must keep your name out of this scandal. Things like this make a man fashionable in Paris, but not in London.
Dorian was dazed with horror. Finally he said,
Oh, Harry, be quick. Tell me everything at once.
I'm certain it wasn't an accident, although it must be described that way officially. The girl swallowed some poison.
Harry, it's terrible. It's all my fault. I was terribly cruel to her. I've murdered Sybil Vane.
You didn't kill her, Dorian.
said Lord Henry.
She killed herself because you didn't love her anymore. It's never happened to me. If you'd married Sybil, you would have been very unhappy and your marriage would have been a failure. Don't waste your tears on Sybil Vane. She's played her last part. Come and dine with me, and later we'll go to the opera.
So I've murdered Sybil Vane. Yet the roses are not less lovely, and the birds sing just as happily. Why is it that I can't feel this tragedy as much as I want to? I don't think I'm heartless. Do you?
You've done too many foolish things in the last fortnight to be heartless, Dorian,
said Lord Henry, with his sweet, sad smile. There was silence. After some time, Dorian looked up.
You've explained me to myself, Harry. How well you know me. You're certainly my best friend. But we won't talk about this any more. It's been a marvellous experience. I think I shall join you at the opera tonight, Harry. I feel too tired to eat anything.
I'll see you before 9:30, I hope.
As soon as Lord Henry had left, Dorian moved to the screen and looked at the picture again. No, there was no further change. It had received the news of Sybil's death before he had known of it himself. Poor Sybil. She had died for love of him. He felt that the time had come for making his choice. Or had life already decided for him? Eternal youth, infinite passion, secret pleasures, wild joys, and wilder sins. He would have all these things. The portrait would carry all the shame. That was all. The portrait would be a magic mirror of his soul. An hour later, he was at the opera with Lord Henry.